Good morning, everyone. This is where
Hello,
I'm
everybody.
humbled. This is where I'm humbled that you all understand English and I don't understand a word of German. So thank you for your patience. It's wonderful to be here today. It's my first visit to Hamburg, and I have to say it is beautiful so far, and I look forward to seeing more of it. Before I start, I'd just like to say a big thank you to D3Con and a big call out actually to Antonia, who's organised this event. She has been absolutely incredible. And I just think we always have to value the people who put such effort into these events. Thank you. So it's an honour to be introducing the Advertiser Day. As in the introduction, I work for ISBA in the UK, and we are the ears, the eyes, but most importantly, the voice of the advertiser. So it's so important that we hear what advertisers think, what they say. So I think far too often in this industry, we forget where the actual money comes from, and we forget who we should actually listen to. And also, it takes the whole industry to work together, to change, to make things happen and make things progress. So on that note, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Teresa Fusaro, Global Director, Media and Advertising Tech and Digital at Reckitt. I've spoken to Teresa a few times, and she is so passionate about driving digital media transformation. So she'll take us through how Reckitt's journey to deliver advanced data-driven media activation and how they've leveraged AI and machine learning to do so. As you said, we'll do Q&A afterwards with Slido, so please do start putting your questions out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bobby. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so what can I add to the introduction? Thank you very much. I just want to say that it's a pleasure to be here today, to have the opportunity to join the event and to open today the event with my session. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to be back in Germany, which indeed was my home until last year. I was living here in the south of Germany, as I was working for Adidas in the global headquarters. So I'd like to give you a quick introduction about myself to complement what Bobby said. I have the pleasure, and I'm so lucky that I could live and join the digital transformation of 3 different companies in the last 7 years, more or less. Today, my role as Reckitt is in the IT and digital organization, leading media and advertising, in a moment which is very intense for Reckitt because the organization is really in the middle of its digital transformation. But before that, I was at Adidas, again in leading digital retail media, which is a very dynamic and changing space. And my very first experience with digital transformation was at Nestlé back 7 years ago now, in the global digital organization that Nestlé created exactly with the objective to drive the digital transformation of the company. What about Reckitt? I'd like to share with you the agenda I prepared for today's session. And I'd like to jump directly in a short introduction about the company. Let me challenge you and ask a question to the audience. Let's see how many of you knew the name of Reckitt before, not because of the different brands on the Reckitt family, but Reckitt as a master brand. Maybe raise your hand if you heard about Reckitt before. Few hands, as I expected. No bad, okay. Thank you. I'm sure you will recognize in this slide many of the brands belonging to Reckitt family. So Reckitt is a multinational consumer packaged goods company which operates all over the world across three main business units: health, hygiene, and nutrition. I cannot avoid to mention some of our iconic brands in the hygiene business. You can see on the screen the likes of Finish, but also Lysol, Sealit Bank, Airwick. And if I think about our health business, we also have very famous brands like Durex or Mortine, Neurofen. And finally, Enfamil, the baby formula, is one of the most important brands for our nutrition business. So let me read to you the purpose we live at Reckitt. We exist to protect, heal, and nurture in the relentless pursuit of a cleaner and healthier world. We fearlessly innovate in this pursuit across our hygiene, health, and nutrition businesses. So what we believe at Reckitt is that everyday routine for health and hygiene and wellness are a necessity for everybody in the world. And we want to make the access to good quality health and hygiene products a right for everybody and not a privilege. Based on this purpose, we also have innovation as one of the key components of the way we do things. And indeed, today I'm presenting to you a very good example of innovation in the space of data-driven media activation. So what is the context about this innovation, where everything started? A few years ago, like many other brands that started the journey with their digital transformation, Reckitt was on a mission to transform in a digital-first business and a data-first business in order to leverage the data about our consumers to improve the way we communicate with them, to understand better our consumers, and to, of course, optimize the way we do media, we invest media in a more effective way. I'm sure all of you will be familiar with the challenges you see in the screen. Of course, there are targeting and data-driven possibilities in digital media advertising. Nevertheless, there are some limitations that all advertisers face every day. For example, if I think about the traditional targeting capabilities, very often the models that are available in many media channels are limited in the type of data sources that we can input. And many media suppliers are developing in the space of connecting first-party data with different types of data. But the reality is that when you come to test, to put in practices this onboarding of first-party data or integration, it's never that easy and it's never at scale. In fact, remarketing capabilities are very effective, but they have the limitation of scale, which is related to the traffic of our websites. So it's difficult to find the balance between effectiveness of targeting or remarketing with reach and scale that all the advertisers need to grow their business. The second challenge is related to the fragmentation of the landscape. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with the environment we face today with privacy and legal regulations or technology advancement that are leading to a more and more fragmented landscape where all the platforms operate in silo and we can target users only in the walls, indeed, of very close environment, very close media channels. And finally, when it comes to understanding the consumers, Reckitt, as many other brands, was relying on traditional methods. For example, consumer panels based on audience surveys, statistics, brand information, sales data. There was not really a way to understand with enough granularity the journey on the consumers on our website. So in this context, you would agree with me, and we all know in the industry that the importance of first-party data, own data from the advertisers, is growing every day, and all the advertisers are in this fight to not only to collect, but to understand the best way to leverage first-party data. Is this, let's say, the challenge that Reckitt had to face? And in this context, together with an external provider, we created a Reckitt own internal and internal developed product that we named Audience Engine, which is the innovation I'm here to share with you today. So what is Audience Engine? Audience Engine is a Reckitt build product that leverages machine learning capabilities and machine learning algorithms to integrate data sources, data from different sources that are used to create audience segments, which are then pushed to different media channels to create personalized targeting at scale. But let me explain to you why Audience Engine is different from other targeting capabilities that are already available in the industry. The beauty of it, for me, is the ability of Audience Engine to connect two different worlds, to connect the online and the offline worlds, because of the nature of the different data sources that we can input in this machine learning algorithm. Of course, one of the main data sources is first-party data from the engagement of consumers with our properties, with our own websites, with articles, blogs, different digital assets that we own at Reckitt. Another type of data source is related to what we call omnichannel commerce. So any e-commerce data from our own D2C websites, but also from retailer websites, so sales data from our retailers. Search data, search query, is another type of data source, and it refers to both paid search and organic search, and how we can look at the actual keywords searched by our consumers to group them in what we call community clusters, groups of users which have the same needs and similar behaviors. And very interesting, second-party data are also an input that we can use in Audience Engine, based on the partnership we have with other companies, or second-party data that we can purchase from other companies which are relevant for our business and for our brands. And finally, out-of-stock data, which is real stock information from the stores, from physical stores. And this is the way we have to really connect off-site and online information for personalized targeting at scales. So all these data sources are put together and are used to create either direct targeting segments, or they can also be used as a seed to generate lookalike segments that are pushed to the different media channels. You can see here an example, of course, a Facebook or Google ecosystem, YouTube, but there is much more than this, and there are many possibilities to add and continuously integrate new media channels. So let's go a bit deeper and see how the targeting built through Audience Engine is different from traditional targeting we see in digital advertising. And I prepared an example of, let's say, the old world versus Audience Engine world. You can see here the broad socio-demographic targeting that is applied in this example to King Charles and Ozzy Osbourne. So two very different profiles, but they share exactly the same socio-demographic information. They are both born in England, born and grew up in England, married twice, with 2 children, wealthy people. They share the interest for dogs, and they both spend their winter holidays in the Alps. So it's a very same socio-demographic profiles, but which is not leading to an effective targets because of the really different interest behavior or consumer behavior of 2 specific individuals. And this is the challenge that Audience Engine is addressing, stepping away from broad targeting and start connecting with more relevant people that are more likely to engage with our products. And how? So Audience Engine is able to provide very granular insights about the entire consumer journey of users on our properties. Of course, the socio-demographic information is also there about the composition of the audience, but it is just one of the data sources, one of the seeds, combined with more details about the actual behavior of the users, referring to which are the articles, the blog, the content they visited on the websites, which are the products they put in their basket across our different brands, or the products that just showed an interest for, the keyword they search for, which are other apparels, in this case, apparel manufacturers' website they visited or products they buy related to our brands. So it's a much more granular targeting because it relies on different data sources from online and offline channels, which allow this personalization at scale to really bring to life the dream of all advertisers to target the right person in the right moment with the right message. At this point, you got to know our Audience Engine, and I'm very proud to share with you some of the real examples we applied this solution to and some of the results we have seen. I have prepared 3 success cases from different brands, from 2 of our businesses and different markets. The first one is for our Durex brand in the US, our condom brand Durex in the US. And we do have a DTC website for Durex, so it is a direct-to-consumer business. The objective of the campaign for the US in this case was about increasing the sign-up for a new created CRM program. And the business hypothesis we wanted to address, to reply to, was comparing 2 different types of audiences. From one side, the consumers that had already purchased our Durex product on the D2C website, and from the other side, users that had visited our website, but they did not purchase yet. They just showed an intent, an interest for our products. And this second type of audience, based on our first-party data, was modeled through Audience Engine algorithm and enriched with additional data sources. So the common sense would have told us that consumers that had already bought or purchased Durex were more likely to sign up in our CRM program. But the Test and Learn campaign demonstrated exactly the contrary, that first-party data modeled through Audience Engine generated, I'll tell you, minus 45% cost per lead, so a significant difference in the cost per lead, and plus 86% CRM sign-up, so very significant better results from Audience Engine audience versus purchase audience from Durex website. The second case study is for our Finnish brand in the US, which is also a D2C business So for Finish, we wanted to understand the value of first-party data from our website compared to second-party data. And the business question, indeed, was comparing the two targeting. So to see if targeting from our website audiences, segmented with audience engine machine learning, was generating better media ROI versus second-party data, purchase data. And it is a very important question because many brands are putting a lot of effort to collect or to buy, to have agreement, to have second-party data. And even before looking at the value of first-party data, even before analyzing if we are leveraging the full potential of our first-party data. And this use case really allowed the brand, in this case, to understand how to plan better our data strategy and where it was worth, or how much, until which point it's worth to invest in second-party data. So the business hypothesis led this campaign, then the campaign results demonstrated indeed the higher value of first-party data versus audience based on second-party data, with sales lift of 3 times higher sales lift for first-party data audience versus second-party based audience, and a significant decrease in the media cost as well. The last case study is from our Cico brand in Mexico. So Cico is also a condom brand for the Mexican market. It's the objective of this campaign was slightly different. It was not around media effectiveness, but was around understanding better the consumer, so driving consumer insights, which is another of the great capabilities of audience engine. After all the significant number of campaigns and the data, the learning we collected, we can use audience engine as well to drive consumer insights and to discover distinctive profile of audiences from our brands. And this is what happened with Cico in this case. The brand hypothesis was that men were the typical audience profile for our condom brand in Mexico. And this is the way the campaigns were planned, based on this belief of addressing a male audience. But we discovered exactly the opposite, that contrary to brand belief, female had a greater interest in condom products as well as in safe sex practices versus men. So it was a very insightful information for the brand that led to optimize not only its digital media campaigns, but overall the way we communicate with consumer. But what next? So with our audience engine, which has been around for a while now at Reckitt, there are still very exciting opportunities that will allow us this year and in the following years to enhance and to improve the capabilities that we have already built, and also to add new capabilities to the solutions. And here I present an overview of the product roadmap we have for this year. The first capability is around keyword natural language processing, which is a capability already existing in Audience Engine. As I said, search data is one of the main data sources from both paid and organic search that we can use as a seed in Audience Engine, but there are opportunities to increase the accuracy of the algorithm in order to understand consumers and to group them based on similar needs, similar behaviors for a more personalized targeting. Out of stock is one of my favorite capability. And it is real forecasting of stock availability and sales from the stores, from point of sales, that we can use for regional media budget optimization to optimize our media efforts, our media investment in geographical areas where the stock availability is higher and we really need to push sales, and avoiding wasting media dollars where we do not have enough stock to sales, or there is not a need for such a push to sell our inventory. Partnership, it's something we have already explored, but it's something we want to expand to other brands in order to be more efficient in targeting our marketing efforts, combining both first-party data and second-party data with, from companies that are relevant for our business. New channels, it's always at the core of Audience Engine, and it's about to integrate new marketing activation platforms in order to provide a wide selection of channels to really achieve the scale that we need as an advertisers to grow our brands and to use our media investment more effectively. And finally, brand-specific activation. This is a new area we are exploring, and it refers to the creation of tailored models for each of our brands in order to have a better targeting relevancy. As I said, we operate across very different businesses, health, hygiene, and nutrition, with a wide portfolio of brands, which might have very different needs or even different data sets that we can leverage for personalization and creating specific models to improve the performance of our brands. This is my last slide. Thank you very much for listening. I think, Bobby, we can leave the floor for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. That was very inspirational and aspirational. Right, we've got a couple of questions from the floor. Firstly, how do you integrate omni-channel data from third-party e-commerce companies in your engine, and what data do you get?
It's a very specific question. It's a very technical question. I'm happy to follow up afterward.
Okay. Daniel, grab her.
I don't think we do have time and space here to go into details for this. But thank you for the question.
Okay. Another question we've got here. What external providers do you use to get search and OOS data?
External provider to get search data?
Yes. What external providers do you use?
I have to say we do have direct integration with search data, but I can also follow up. I got a few technical questions, which I will need the support of my team to reply on, but I'm happy to follow up afterward.
I think that was all the questions from the floor.
Okay.
I just got one question, which what was the most, it's a hugely complex journey you've been on. What was the most challenging part of it? Was it the external part, or was it actually internal organization that was actually difficult? What was the biggest challenge?
So it was a quite challenging and complex process because, as I said, we created from scratch a product which did not exist, that of course leverages existing capabilities but pulling many things together. So the big challenge was creating a dedicated team for it, putting in place what we call a product team, as Reckitt IT&D operates as a product-driven organization. So we had to create a team to hire specific resources or reutilize internal resources together with the provider we worked with, and changing as well the mindset internally about this is our way to do targeting, this is the priority we want to push across brands. So some of change management has been as well a big challenge.
not an easy feat. Right, I think we're at time, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of the day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.